So, have you ever stared at a totally blank screen, just poured all your thoughts onto the page, and then felt completely frustrated because it just didn't sound right on the first try? Well, I have a secret for you. Did you know that first drafts are rarely perfect? In fact, they're messy, they're chaotic, and honestly, that's completely normal. You're really not supposed to get it flawlessly right on the very first attempt. Instead, there's a clear, incredibly rewarding path to turning that rough outline into absolute excellence. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so excited to dive into this with you. Today, we're looking at the diligent craft of revision and academic integrity. Think of this as your personal masterclass in taking something raw and transforming it into a polished masterpiece. We're going to learn exactly how to make your writing clearer, more accurate, and entirely honest. It's a process that'll not only elevate your grades, but honestly, it'll shape the way you communicate for the rest of your life.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap for today. First, the first draft myth. Second, why revision matters. Third, the revision toolkit. Fourth, real revision examples. And finally, education and biblical morality.
Let's jump right into section 1, the first draft myth.
Revising gives you the chance to correct, strengthen, and credit. You know, sometimes we kind of look at revision like it's a punishment from a teacher, right? Like we did it wrong the first time, so now we have to do it again. But actually, scratch that. That couldn't be further from the truth. Revisioning is a super empowering tool. It's literally your ultimate second chance. It gives you the space to correct an unclear sentence that might confuse your reader, to strengthen an argument that felt a little weak, and most importantly, to make sure you've given proper credit to your sources. It's where the real magic of writing actually happens.
Moving right along to section 2. Why revision matters.
So what does this all mean? Well, let's talk about academic integrity. It means being honest and careful in your work, ensuring all sources are properly credited. Guys, this is the absolute bedrock of everything we're talking about today. When we revise, we're actively protecting our academic integrity. We're double-checking our facts and making sure we aren't taking credit for someone else's hard work. And that helps us completely avoid unintentional plagiarism. In both school and life, revising teaches you a vital lesson. You have to value quality over speed. A rushed message can lead to major misunderstandings, but a carefully revised one, that shows deep respect for your audience. And you know, this isn't just some strict academic rule, it's a timeless principle of wisdom. Take this quote from Proverbs 21:5, which says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." When you value careful diligence over rushed haste, you aren't just getting a better grade, you're actively shaping your character. Haste, just rushing through your work to get it done, leads to poor results, or a poverty of quality. But diligence, that slow and steady commitment to doing things right, that leads to great reward.
All right, section 3, the revision toolkit. Let's get into the how-to.
Here are your 3 essential action-oriented steps to polish your work for final submission. Number 1, read aloud. Number 2, check citations. And number 3, review organization. Let's break down exactly why these 3 specific tools are an absolute game changer.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. If you stumble when reading aloud, your reader might stumble too. Reading your work out loud is such a practical, foolproof trick. See, when we read silently, our brains are so smart that they actually autocorrect our mistakes for us. Crazy, right? But when you force yourself to physically speak the words, you immediately catch those sentences that sound awkward, clunky, or just plain confusing. If you run out of breath reading a sentence, guess what? It's too long. If you trip over the words, your reader is definitely going to have trouble understanding it too.
Our second tool is checking citations. Missing citations can lead to unintentional plagiarism. You absolutely must check every single quote, every paraphrase, and every single fact you researched to make sure there's a citation attached to it. Even if you didn't mean to steal someone's idea, forgetting to give them credit breaks that academic integrity we just talked about. Always, always give credit where credit is due. Let's look at section 4, real revision examples. Now, what's really interesting about this is seeing the transformation. Let's say your first draft just says, pollution is bad and needs to stop. I mean, it's okay, but it's a bit weak, isn't it? But then you revise it and it becomes, air pollution harms health by increasing asthma rates. Wow, just by revising, we added specific details. We told the reader exactly why it's bad and exactly how it needs to stop. That's the power of a solid revision. And this brilliantly illustrates our citation check. Imagine you write this really great paraphrased idea about recycling, but you completely forget to cite where you learned it. That is a huge risk.
But during your revision process, you catch the mistake and you add that proper citation right in. By doing this simple check, you literally fix unintentional plagiarism before your paper is ever handed into your teacher. It takes just a few extra seconds, but man, it saves your integrity.
Finally, let's look at organization. Imagine you have this truly mind-blowing statistic, but it's buried way down in the middle of your paper, where your reader might just zone out and lose focus. During revision, you review your overall structure, and you ask yourself, does this flow? So, you decide to move that super strong statistic right up into the introduction to grab the reader immediately. It makes the whole paper feel far more professional and trustworthy. Honestly, small organizational improvements make a massive difference.
Section 5, Education and Biblical Morality.
I really want you to take this to heart. Colossians 3:23 reminds us, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord." When you sit down at your desk and revise your essay with true care, you are actually honoring God. You're striving for excellence and honesty. This approach doesn't just make your English paper stronger, it actually shapes the very core of your character to deeply value diligence, truth, and hard work. And this perfectly summarizes the core philosophy of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner series. Education without morality will hurt. Think about it for a second. What is the point of being incredibly smart and highly educated if you continually make bad choices that hurt yourself and others? Smart choices require good character. That is exactly why true education must intertwine with biblical morality. Doing the right thing, like meticulously checking your citations and being honest in your work, builds the moral muscle you're going to need for the rest of your life. So I want to leave you with this final, powerful question to think about today. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. When you engage in your work honestly, avoiding the cheap shortcuts of plagiarism and putting in the diligent effort of revision, you earn that peace. So as you look at your next writing assignment, will you choose that peace of mind by keeping your mind spiritual and your work honest? The choice and the incredible reward that follows is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy revising!